Hello everybody, welcome to Vysh. This is Pranay and we are going to continue the Tamilnadu history textbook part 1 of class 11th. Before I start the class, I request everybody to please like and share this video and please leave a comment such that we can know how many people are really interested to attend these classes. Also, you can reach us on the mail provided here, the mail ID is here, and the phone number. You can WhatsApp us for any queries regarding UPSC. So we shall start. The chapter number 6, Polity and Society in Post-Mauryan Period. So what are we going to see in this chapter? Cultural influence of Greeks on India, Indo-Greek rulers and their contributions, invasions of Sakas, Pahlavis and Parthians and Kushanas from Central Asia, importance of contact between India and Central Asia, reciprocal influence on art and literature, insight of magnitude of trade with Rome and its impact on the economy. Okay. Introduction. In the 4th centuries, following the death of Emperor Ashoka and the resulting decline of the Mauryan Empire, parts of India were subject to invasion of the Indo-Greek Sakas and Kushanas from West and Central Asia. All of them established themselves as rulers over large parts of India. This strengthened the process of acculturation and assimilation of foreign cultures and art forms into the Indian society. It also resulted in integration of India with the Mediterranean world and Central Asia and China through extended trade linkages. So, Ashoka was a very powerful kingdom. King, the Mauryan Empire, for example, if you consider this as Indian subcontinent, the forces from here, when they tried to invade after this Indus River, these were stopped by the people of the kingdom, basically, the armed forces of the kingdom. So after the death of Emperor Ashoka, as well as the decline of Mauryan Empire, slowly small disintegration happened, and smaller kingdoms started to establish. So because of these smaller kingdoms, there was some sort of weakness, which because of which a lot of people started invading. Okay, so we will see the first Indo-Greek relations. Beginning. India's interaction with the Greeks began with the invasion of Northwestern India by Alexander. Okay, this was in around 327 to 325 BC, and his conquest of the Punjab region. Okay, when he began his return march to the west, he left the conquered territories under provincial governors. Okay, he came, he invaded, and he went back. But before going back, he left his governors there. Okay, one of the Chandragupta Maurya's early military expeditions was against these foreign intruders. Seleucus Nicator, one of the Alexander's most capable generals, succeeded in making himself the master of vast territory from Phrygia, the Turkey, to the river Indus after 311 BC. Within a few years, probably around 305 BC, Chandragupta waged a war against Seleucus and defeated him. Okay. However, this was not the savage defeat that happened to Alexander's governors. Instead, Chandragupta made a peace treaty with Seleucus. Seleucus surrendered the land he had conquered up to the Indus and received 500 war elephants in return. This is also mentioned of a there is also a mention of a marriage agreement. So what happened is this Seleucus Nictor, who was one of the Alexander's most governor general, he was taking care of the territory from Turkey to Indus River. Okay, he was defeated by Chandragupta, and a peace treaty was written. Okay, and the land was given back to Chandragupta, and return he got around 500 elephants. Also, there is mention of marriage agreement also. The treaty also led to establishment of diplomatic relations between Greeks and the Mauryan Empire. Megasthenes was sent to Mauryan capital Patliputra as Greek ambassador. Okay, the Greek ambassador Megasthenes was in the Patliputra. Bindusara, Chandragupta's son, continued to maintain friendly ties with the Greek kingdom in West Asia. Greek historians refer to ambassadors sent by Ptolemy II of Egypt to to Bindusara's correspondence with Antiochus of Syria. Okay, Ashoka also continued the tradition. Bindusara supported, Ashoka also supported. Okay, the tradition of friendly relations with the Greek kingdom. His Rock Edict 13. Okay, remember Rock Edict 13 mentions, sorry, 5 Iona kings identified as Antiochus II, Theos of Syria, Ptolemy II, Philadelphus of Egypt, Antigonus Gonatas of Macedonia, Magas of Cyrene, and Alexander of Corinth. This also indicates that relations of Ashoka with the Greeks extended beyond West Asia, okay, well into heartland of Greece. We now come across the term Yavana or Yona, which we have seen. See here, 5 Yona kings. Okay, term Yavana or Yona for Greeks, which was used throughout India. The word was derived from Persian word Yauna. Okay, Yauna, which refers to Greeks. So these people were called as Yavana. Just remember, Yavana is mentioned for the Greeks. In India, the term Yavana was used to denote all persons of Greek origin, including those of mixed race and even the Phoenicians. Okay, the regular interchange of ambassadors and correspondents, as well as the extension of Mauryan Empire till Afghanistan, facilitated regular trade from India to west as far as Egypt. Okay, trade was carried on by overland route via northwest Afghanistan, Bactria, and also partly by the coastal route along the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. A variety of luxury goods, including ivory, tortoise shell, pearls, indigo, and other dyes, aromatic substances like spiked nard or nard. This is some sort of fragrant oil, okay, and malabtram, like it is leaf of cinnamon, which we use as a spice now, okay, and rare woods were exported from India. Okay, leaf of cinnamon is the bay leaf which we use in the food. Okay, the cultural influence of Greeks is evident from the capitals of the monuments at Patliputra. Many historians argue that the elaborate administrative institutions of the Mauryan Empire drew inspiration from the administrative systems of Persians and Greeks. See, when there is a confluence from here, there is some confluence from the Greeks, and here from the confluence of Mauryans, there will be a lot of cultural exchange. Okay, these people learn from here, these people learn from here. Okay, for example, even if we consider Indian culture, okay, because of there were a lot of changes in the past. Some 1,000 years or 2,000 years, we can see there is a confluence of Persian culture in India, but there is a lot of the Western culture in India because of the British people coming into India, and before that also because of these Greek people coming to India. So these are all confluences. Okay. The eventual rise of Indian Greek kingdoms in the Western India strengthened the cross-cultural influences and gave rise to distinct school of art. Okay, so we will see about the Indo-Greek kings who are very important. Okay, so the Seleucid Empire, which extended from northern Afghanistan, Bactria, to Syria, began to weaken and disintegrate after 250 BCE. Okay, the governor of Bactria, Diodus, revolted against Antiochus II and became the independent ruler of Bactria. In 212 BCE, the king of Bactria was a Greek named Euthydemus. Okay, the Seleucid emperor Antiochus III was unable to subjugate Euthydemus and agreed to negotiate a settlement with him, since Antiochus himself needed to turn his attention to the dominions in the west. But Antiochus III did come down the Kabul river and managed to defeat the local king known as Subhagasena. Nothing much is known about this king. It can be inferred that mention of an independent king in the region might be an indication of the weakening of the central authority of Mauryan Empire after Ashoka's death in 236 BCE. See, second king, the Demetrius. Euthydemus' son Demetrius succeeded him around 200 BC, and another Demetrius, probably Demetrius II, was the first known Indo-Greek king. Okay, The distinguishing feature of the reign of Indo-Greek kings was their exquisite coinage. Okay, minted in the same style of Greek coins of silver, they carried the portrait of reigning king on the one side with his name. Okay, the coins thus give us a visual picture of the kings, who are represented in the various kinds of headgear and with distinctive facial and physical features. See, this is Demetrius one coin. You can see what kind of headgear he was wearing and what kind of facial expression he had and what kind of clothes he wore. Okay, in the similar way, see here the Demetrius II king. Demetrius II's one second. Yeah, Demetrius II's coin. Okay, what kind of headgear he had, and another side there was some sort of portrait. Extensive collection of these coins have been found from the period, which makes it possible to reconstruct the lineage of Indo-Greek kings with certainty. Indian accounts of period refer to Yavana invasion of Ayodhya. You see, where is Ayodhya? In UP, right? So till there there was some sort of invasion, and further east into the Magadha territory. However, since the Greeks seem to have been beset by internal dissensions, they did not retain any of this territory. They did not retain. Okay, they ceded land to Pushyamitra, the Sunga emperor, who had usurped the throne after the last Mauryan ruler. Numismatic evidence, the coin evidence, okay, also proves Demetrius' association with India. He issued bilingual square coins. With Greek on the obverse and Kharoshthi, the local language of northwestern Pakistan, on the reverse. Okay. At about 165 BC, Bactria was lost to Parthians and Shakas. Around 165 BC. Yeah, well, you just make a small note anywhere in your notebook, like when was Indo-Greeks coming, when did Bactria was lost to Parthians and Shakas, and when did Shakas came into India, and these kind of things. And just this chronology will help you to remember the whole thing very easily. Okay. After the Yavanas continued to rule in central and southern Afghanistan and northwestern India. Okay, the Greeks continued to beset with internal squabbles among many claimant to power, and name of more than 30 kings can be identified from their coins. More than 30 kings. Okay, it is possible that they all ruled small pockets as autonomous rulers and issued their own coins. So next, coming to Menander, he is one of the best known king. Okay, Menander, he was around 165, 145 to 130 BC. Was best known of the Indo-Greek kings. He is said to have ruled a large kingdom in the northwest of the country. His coins have found over extensive area ranging from valleys of the Kabul and Indus River to as far as western Uttar Pradesh. So this was one of the coin of Menander, and I don't know if you can see this properly, the language here used, and what kind of portrait it has been mentioned here. This gives a good indication of extent of this kingdom. Though he does not look like a great and heroic conqueror as seen in his coins, he is said to have raided the Gangetic region along with the kings of Panchala and Mathura. King Kharavela of Kalinga, mentioned in the Hathigumpha inscription, was not able to stop him. Menander successfully attacked Pataliputra but retreated without consolidating his conquest. Interestingly, in his coins, he is described as king and sorter or savior, and not as a great conqueror. So, the softer side of the king has been mentioned on some of the coins. Okay. So, next king is Antiochus or Antiochus, around 110 BC, 110 CE. He is known to us primarily because of his emissary. Okay, Heliodorus, who was sent to the court of King Bhagabhadra, erected a pillar or Garuda Dvaja with its capital adorned by a figure of Garuda in honor of god Krishna, Vasudeva. Heliodorus has evidently become a follower of Vishnu, stands in isolation in the middle of open ground in Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh. This is the pillar which is there in Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh. You can just Google it and you can see what kind of the capital they have used there. Okay. So next we will see about Shakas, Parthians and Kushanas. The Indo-Greek Kingdom in northwestern India were out by various nomadic tribes from Central Asia. Okay, nomadic tribes from Central Asia, known as Shakas, Scythians, Parthians, Pahlavis, and Kushanas. Yechi or Yezi tribes in Chinese. In spite of the fact that they followed the Greek practice of issuing vast amount of coinage with their names and titles, mostly King of Kings, this is very confusing period in our history. So this part is not very clear to even the historians. Okay, it is daunting task to try and work out lineage of various ruling clans and dynasties that came into India. The advent of these tribes in India arose as a result of a complex sequence of migrations and political developments in Central Asia. In the eastern part of Central Asia, the Yuchi were being pushed westwards by Chinese, who had built the Great Wall to keep nomads and to protect their villages and agriculture from their raids. So, because they were pushed back, okay, they were not allowed to enter, so these nomadic tribes had to move somewhere. Okay, the Yuchi in turn turned westwards and pushed the Shakas towards the eastern Iran, where the Parthians had become rulers following the collapse of Seleucid Empire. Okay, by that time the Indo-Greek Empire was already done. Okay, so these people had a place. As a curious historical event, in 58 BCE, the independent Parthian kingdom of eastern Iran was established by Parthian Vononas. This year was taken to denote the start of Vikram Samvat era, the Indian calendar. Okay, Vikram Samvat era is 56 BCE. Okay, similarly, the Shaka era, which you will read in the next coming chapters, is around 78 CE, and this is 0, this is BC, this is the AD. Okay, Shakas. The Shakas were pushed back from eastern Iran by Parthian rulers, Mithridates, and they then turned to northwestern India and finally settled in region between Indus Valley and Saurashtra. Indus Valley and Saurashtra. You will see in the coming slides. The first Shaka ruler in India was Maus or Moa or Moga around 20 BCE to 22 CE. He occupied Gandhara, driving a wedge into the Indo-Greek kingdoms, but it was his successor Azes who finally destroyed the last remnants of the Indo-Greek kingdoms and extended Shaka rule as far as Mathura. Okay. In India, the Shakas became assimilated into Hindu society. Okay, they began to adopt Hindu names and religious beliefs, so much so that their coins had representation of Hindu gods on one side. Okay, the Shakas appointed Kshatrapas or Satraps as provincial governors. Okay, to administer their territories. Many of the Kshatrapas titled themselves Mahakshatrapas and were virtually independent rulers. One of the most of the famous of the Saka Kshatrapas was Rudraman. Okay, his exploits were celebrated in the famous rock inscription of Junagadh. A simple question may arise. Rock inscription of Junagadh was related to. Okay, these kind of questions are very common in UPSC. According to this inscription, he had defeated the Shatavanas in the battle. Okay, his name indicates that the process of assimilation into Indian society was complete by that time. The name Rudraman, okay, is a Hindu name, and this was written in Sanskrit. Kushanas. The Shakas were displaced by the Parthian Gondophares, who first conquered Kabul around 43 CE. He lost the Kabul valley to Kushanas, but he was successful against the Shakas in India. Records of his rule have been discovered in Peshawar district. The Shakas approached the Kushanas for the war help against the Parthians. Okay, see here. This is the Kushanan Empire. Okay, It was almost till here. Okay, at that time, in the southern part of India, the Deccan part of India, there are Shatavahanas. Okay, you will see here. See, this is the Parthian Empire. You can see here. This is Kushanan Empire, and Western Satrapas. This is Shakas. This is Indo-Parthian Surens. Okay, at that time, here Shatavahanas, the Andhra dynasty were there. Okay, and at that time Lichavis were here, Sushma. These are not very important coming here. You just take a look into it. You can just Google this map very easily. Okay. The first Kushana king who conquered Afghanistan was Khujula Khadfises, followed by Vima Khadfises. The two kings extended Kushana territory to Gandhara, Punjab, and as far to east as the Ganga Jamuna Doab till Mathura. Okay. Kanishka, the best known of the Kushana kings, was Kanishka, who is thought to have ruled from 78 CE to 101 or 102 CE. Ironically, 78 CE is held to be the beginning of Shaka era in the Indian calendar. We have seen in that chronology, right? His rule is said to have started anywhere between 78 and 144 CE. Kanishka was an ardent follower of Buddhism, and hosted the fourth Buddhist Mahasangha or council. This is very important, noted. The third council has been held in Patliputra during the Ashoka's reign. By now, Mahayana Buddhism had become the dominant sect, and Kanishka supported the mission sent to China to preach Buddhism. You do a small homework. Okay. First council, second council, third council. We have given the fourth council here. First council, second council, third council. Where were they happened? Where were they held? And what was the time? What were the dates? And who was the chairperson? Okay. So these are a couple of Kanishka's king, and you can see, the way they are portraying the king. Okay, and on the other side there might be some sort of gods or Okay. Kushana's coins were of the highest quality. Okay, and conformed to the weight standards of Roman coins. In the coins, Kushana rulers are referred to as kings of kings, Caesar, Lord of all lands, and by other such titles. Unfortunately, the titles did not leave much room on the coins for the actual name of the ruler. Okay, kings of kings, the way they wrote, so there was no place left to write the name of the king. Okay, hence our information on Kushana kings tends to be very uncertain. Okay. Kanishka's coins as well as his statue found near Mathura show him dressed in a belted tunic along with overcoat and wearing boots, testifying to his Central Asian origins. See here, this was found, and because of the boots and because of this huge sword and these all stuff, this was found nearby Mathura. Okay, the rock of Hunza mentions his first two cadfices and Kushana Devaputra, son of God. Kushana Devaputra, son of God, Maharaja Kanishka. This inscription confirms that Kanishka's empire stretched from Central Asia till Eastern India. Buddhist sources record that he had conquered Magadha and Kashmir and Khotan in Singhania. Kushana kings, mostly with their names ending with Ksha, Shka. Okay, Shka. Most of the names are Shka. Among the Huvishka, Vashishka, as well as later Kanishka and even Vasudeva, okay, ruled for at least 1 century more, but nothing much is known about them. Okay, clearly the empire was beginning to break down, and the satraps, the Kushanas, also continued to the practice of appointing satraps to govern the provinces. The governors basically were able to set themselves upon as independent rulers in various regional capitals. See, these were appointed as governors for some sort of places. What they used to do, they used to send some taxes or something to the king. But as soon as the king gets weaker, okay, as soon as the kings get weaker, what they do is they call themselves as the independent king. Okay, so we'll see about the art and literature of that time. During the reign of Kushanas, there was great creative energy when art and literature flourished. This was partly due to royal patronage and partly due to other factors like growing ascendancy of Mahayana Buddhism, which allowed the representation of person of Buddha in human form. Okay, so uh, previously, as you might have read in the last classes also, the Hinayana, the Mahayana, the Vajrayana, the different parts of Buddhism, the different types of Buddhism. In the Mahayana Buddhism, the visual of the Buddha is represented as a figure, okay, in a human form, okay, so which was not there in Hinayana. So in this there is great influence of Greek also, Greek influence, Greek culture. The you can see here the way they have portrayed him, okay, the headgear, maybe the hair, and even the face cuts, okay, the body structure, okay, these kind of stuff, okay, were coming from the Greeks. This Greek influence led to an Indo-Greek style of sculpture and art commonly referred to as Gandhara art. Okay, statues of Buddha sculpted particularly in Takshashila and the northwestern regions show him in graceful garments surrounded by cherubs and leaves inspired by Greek tradition. But mention must also be there of the red sandstone sculpture with intricate carvings produced near Mathura. Okay, so you can see the face cuts. If you see the Greek statues, you will see the face cuts, the hairstyles. You search from you search for Greek statues in Google. You will see, like, we have got a lot of influence from those Greek statues. The Buddhists began to carve out rock caves in the hills of western India, which served as religious centers with chaityas and viharas. Comment me what is the difference between chaityas and viharas in this video. Stretching from Ajanta caves to Kanheri caves in Mumbai. Large statues of Buddha were sculpted in these caves as part of Mahayana tradition, and in later centuries they were further embellished with murals of extraordinary beauty as seen in the Ajanta caves. You can see in Ajanta caves huge, large-sized human form of Buddha. One lying down, one standing, one sitting. You can see in a lot of mudras. Okay, and even there are mural paintings. Okay, in the Ajanta. Kanishka was patron of Buddhist philosophers such as Ashwaghosha, Parswa, Vasumitra, as well as great Buddhist teacher Nagarjuna. Ashwaghosha is known for his Buddha Charitra. Ashwaghosha is known for his Buddha Charitra and is celebrated as author of the first Sanskrit play Sariputra Prakarana in 9 acts. The great dramatist Bhasa, whose plays were rediscovered only about 100 years ago in southern India, most probably belonged to this period. Remember 2021 UPSC Prelims paper? Bhasa was mentioned. If we know this guy, the Bhasa, we might have, answered that question. Among the Hindu treatises, we find the Manusmriti, Vatsayana's Kama Sutra, and Kautilya's Arthashastra taking final shape by 2nd century CE. What you need to do is you just take a notebook. The whole chapter of 1 hour might be half of the page in the notebook. Okay, once you go through this chapter and for revision and before the examination day, you just note these kind of stuff and read those stuff before the examination. Like, for example, Ashwaghosha Buddha Charita, here Manusmriti, Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra, Kautilya's Arthashastra. Okay, and with these also you can have a small chronological timeline, like when were these found. Okay, UPSC can ask easily which was written in the later stage, which was written in the previous stage. Okay, we will see about the Tamil kingdoms. Southern India remained immune to the political changes taking place in the northern part of the country. So the southern part, because of the this northwestern influence and all, there were a lot of political changes in the northern part of India, but the southern India was immune. There were not a lot of changes happening. Okay, around the 1st century CE, the Shattavana Kingdom was established in the Deccan area, comprising modern states of Andhra and Telangana. You can see here. Okay, however, was not like the centralized empire of the Mauryans, and the provincial governors of the Shatavahanas had a considerable degree of autonomy. It was not a very centralized kingdom similar to Mauryans. Okay, the political landscape of Tamil region was fragmented into small kingdoms, in contrast to north where extensive empires flourished. The Tamil region was ruled by Movendar, the three kings, the Pandyas from their capitals Madurai, the Cholas from their capital Urayur. Urayur is a part of Tiruchi. The Cheras from Vanji, okay, modern day Karur. Ashoka's second rock edict mentions that them as kingdoms bordering his empire. There were many warlords and chiefs, often referred to as Velir, who were ruling over smaller principalities in this region. We have extensive information about Tamil region coming from the corpus of Tamil poetry, collectively known as the Sangam literature, okay, dating from 3rd century BCE to 3rd century CE. To this, we can add the epics Silappadikaram and Manimekalai, which were written somewhat later. Okay, so this is one of small statue of Agasthyar, who was the chairman of first Tamil Sangams. Tamil Sangams were basically, they used to meet for a couple of days. They used to sit a lot of people, and they used to give their poetry, and those poetries and all were written down and compiled into a single set known as Sangam literature. Okay, the very large volume of trade with Tamil region evoked a great deal of interest among the Roman and Greek historians and geographers, and their accounts complement the information in the Tamil sources, especially with respect to trade. Information in Tamil sources, especially with respect to trade. A 1st century CE account in Greek, the Periplus of Erythraean Sea. The Periplus marries Erythrae. Okay, the Periplus of Erythraean Sea was written by an anonymous Greek, is most reliable source of information on the ports of Indian coast and trade. So that guy who wrote this, he was traveling from Red Sea towards the India, and he wrote this book, but we don't know who wrote it. Okay, archaeological findings confirm the information from all these sources. These all are correlated. Okay, correlated. So what they do is, the archaeological sources, the historical written sources, the literature and all, they try to correlate them. Okay, contours of international trade. So automatically, because of a lot of happenings, the trade also flourishes. The two major developments changed the contours of trade between Europe and India towards the beginning of Common Era. Two major developments, they say. By the end of the last century BC, Rome emerged as a superpower. Okay, last century BC, Rome was the superpower of the Mediterranean world, displacing the Greek kingdoms, and the republic became an empire in 27 BC under the Emperor Augustus. Remember, Rome was a republic at that time. Okay, Rome was the largest and probably the wealthiest city in the world, commanding huge resources realized through conquests in Europe and North Africa. Okay, the wealth of Rome greatly increased the demand for various products from India, especially the spices and the textiles of Tamil country, resulting in a great expansion of trade. So, see, when the rich people increase, automatically the luxury increases, and once the luxury increases, the need of the luxurious products also increases. So, the production of India, specifically maybe the spices, maybe pearls, maybe jewelry, or some sort of costly stones and all were increasing. Okay, the second development was discovery of pattern of monsoon winds. Okay, so previously the Arabs and these people were involved in that, but because of these people, the pattern of monsoon winds in the Arabian Sea in the 1st century CE by Hippalus, an Egyptian sailor. Till then, the sea trade between India and Mediterranean was controlled by the Arabs, Arabs had a monopoly of the knowledge of the source regions of products such as cinnamon and pepper, which formed the main export to Rome. So these people used to work, as a mediator. But then, but when the information about the direct sea route became common knowledge, Roman ships began to sail directly to the western coast of India. They could thus avoid sailing close to coastline, which made them vulnerable to attacks by pirates. Further, this also meant that the overland route could be circumvented completely, since traders on that route were also vulnerable to attacks by Parthians in Iran. The ultimate result of combination of growing demand from Rome and opening of direct sea route to western India was increase in the number of ships sailing to India from about 20 ships a year to almost one ship a day. Every day there used to be a ship coming. Okay. Also, the ships sailing from India to Rome carried pepper, large quantities of pearls, ivory, silk cloth, spikenard, which we had a discussion previously also, the spikenard, malabutaram, the leaf of the cinnamon tree, the bay leaf, okay, aromatic sapphire, beryl, diamonds, and tortoiseshell. You see, these all are luxury products. These all are more or less luxury products. Okay. Also, the fine cotton. Okay, these were all exported from Rome. You see the silk cloth and all. These were, even there was some sort of export from China to India. Okay, and then by road, and from here they used to send it by the ships basically. Okay, to the Rome. By ships or maybe by road, but between the India was there, we used to be the reseller of the silk. From Rome, the main imports were coin, topaz, antimony, coral, crude glass, copper, tin, and leaden wine. Clearly, the value of exports from the Tamil region was much higher than the value of imports from Rome, and the volume of trade peaked in the second half of the first century CE during the reign of Emperor Tiberius. There was a complaint that each year the trade to India caused a drain of around 55 million to Rome. Okay, so these are couple of Roman coins. There are plenty of Roman coins found in Tamil Nadu specifically. Okay, so you can see what kind of coins they used to bring to India, and there is even, people talk about it. There is no official information, but because of these gold coins coming into the Tamil region, there was high utilization of the the gold in Tamil Nadu, specifically the ornaments and all. Okay, so these were found in Tamil Nadu's Pudukkottai. So that's all for today, guys. So this completes the chapter number 6. In the next video, we will go with the chapter number 7. And thank you all. I request you to share this video, like this video, and please leave us some sort of feedback in the comments so that we can know how you are feeling, and if there are any sort of suggestions or anything, you just provide it in the comments. And see you. Have a great day. Bye.